If you aren't already aware of the first news we're going to talk about here with the Quest today, consider yourself lucky, because some new users, some existing users picked up their headsets and found them completely bricked. If you're not familiar with the term bricked, it's pretty common in the tech industry. It means that a piece of technology you had has now become a brick because it no longer works at all. This news dropped right after Christmas. Meta basically acknowledged there was a software update issue and some headsets failed during this software update. They did say they were trying to resolve it as soon as possible, but users could try booting up the headset while holding down the power button for 45 seconds before releasing it to see if that would hard reset the headset and get it to work again. Multiple reports across Reddit and Meta's own forums as this was going on, but it wasn't just new Quest 3S's, this was Quest 2, Quest 3 headsets, but a lot of them were ones people hadn't used in a while and took back out to show family over the holidays or to play something, and they were the ones that couldn't get theirs working again. People in the forums guessing that basically if you'd been updating your firmware consistently, it was okay to go from one to the next, but if you'd been several updates back and all of a sudden it fully updated to the new one, that was what was causing a lot of these to fail. It was reported that 3S users actually did have a potential leg up here as the headsets were newer. This issue didn't really seem to affect them, but was primarily the original Quest 3 and Quest 2 models. Now that it has been several days, it seems Meta has figured out the issue and has been able to resolve it on most headsets. But this unfortunate thing happening when, of course, a lot of companies have people on vacation and don't have their usual tech support. Some users had to go days without being able to use their headsets, not able to set up their new headsets, and Meta is having to offer some free Quest replacements to the headsets that were never able to be corrected from the start. They said not only will they replace your Quest device, but they will also issue some Horizon Store credit as a token of their commitment to supporting the users. Not a fun surprise on Christmas morning, especially for people who are brand new to VR. I hope that ultimately they were able to fix this quickly for anyone out there. If you did have this happen, let us know your story in the comments. But ultimately, as most of us here believe in VR or love it, we don't like to see things happen like this. We don't want people to have their first ever experience in VR be a bad one. We hate when games get released too early and they're not ready, and then people never go back to the game because it had too many problems at launch. But it's something that not only plagues the VR industry, but the greater game industry as a whole. Did this affect any of you out there? Despite some holiday issues, it does look like the Meta Quest 3S had a strong Christmas, with the Horizon app, the one you need on your phone to actually set up your Quest the first time, becoming the #1 app on Christmas Day, meaning a lot of people were on their iPhones downloading the app to set up their new Quests. This isn't uncommon though. This happened back in 2021 and 2023, both on Christmas. Not in 2022, as the Quest 2 not only was aging, but also actually went up in price for a brief time. The Quest 3S on USA Amazon also showing over 100,000 units sold in the past month. And for perspective, that's more than the PS5 and Xbox SKUs combined. Granted, they have been out for a lot more years. The new Quest 3S just launched. It's less than $300, which we saw made the Quest 2 very successful. But some very good news overall for the VR industry. And hopefully this means we'll actually get some accurate sales data from Meta. They've always been very tight-lipped in the past about their sales data unless they had some big number to show off and brag about. It's a new year, and thanks to all of you, we have so much to look back on from last year and be grateful for, from being sent to Germany, Florida, New York, all kinds of different trips. So we're doing some new stuff here too. A lot of you have been asking about a set of Ray-Bans as a giveaway. So we are going to give away a set of Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses to one of you out there. We got a couple other giveaways still going on, companies helping with some of them. I also just got a bunch of game codes this morning, although I usually just give those away on the Discord. But if you haven't seen the new Ray-Ban one or some of the new giveaways we just started, check out the link down below. The link tree will take you to all of them. But again, thanks to all of you, we are coming close to 100K, 100,000 people subscribed to this channel, which is absolutely wild. Thank you all so much. We talk a lot on this channel about ways to justify getting a Quest, ways to save money, win them. Well, if you have an old .edu email address laying around, you might be able to save yourself 10% extra. Now, US students with a .edu can get a 10% off on Quest headsets, which is their education discount, although it also works for Ray-Ban smart glasses, and this is students and educators. So that means if you want a 3S, you can get it for as little as $270. And it doesn't seem like it's going to exclude any of the current programs like Free Batman, very educational, or some of the Quest credit you can get. So really, you add up those discounts and the 3S is becoming an amazingly low price. We've got some links for Quest down below too if you want to follow one of those to get yourself one. There's extra credit if you do get it that way, $60 in store credit, other stuff too, so check it out. With it being a new year, inevitably there's going to be a lot of New Year's resolutions, and probably the most popular ones are fitness related. Well, there's now an AI controlled punching bag that projects a life-size fitness coach into your living room, and I had to look at this thing several times to to realize that this wasn't just Beat Saber with boxing gloves. Another fitness startup based in Austin, Texas, just like Omni, who we got to go and see last year. This is using augmented reality, but without any kind of glasses. Still in the realm of XR, but definitely a nice thought when it comes to so much VR fitness or AR fitness comes with something on your face, which is where a lot of people primarily sweat during working out. And this even reminding me of some of the boxing machines we got to try years ago when we went to a VR specific gym there. The cameras that track your movements and it provides feedback, and it really looks a lot like Beat Saber though. I mean, even the score system, the tiles. It's called Growl. I'm curious, what do you think out there, especially if you first saw it? Did it look like they just repurposed Beat Saber to you? They're trying to sell the system by the month, so who knows if it'll actually take off. But it's interesting to see augmented reality coming across in more ways, and it definitely seems to me like this was heavily influenced by Beat Saber. With the Quest 3S doing well in sales, it does mean more good quality mixed reality is making it into people's homes. And over time, we've seen some great mixed reality, some not so great. It's still a medium that feels now even newer and fresher than VR itself. Well, there's another one, Panic Room. Reminds me at a glance of The Ring, but a game that plays on your phobias rather than immersing you fully in VR in mixed reality. Spiders coming through your walls, horror happening in your very home around you. And it's early access, it's less than $5, but so far a 4.6 rating. Reviews stating that they love how it's finally not just the cutesy MR stuff we get, people warning about arachnophobia and jump scares. This was one when I saw it, I got very curious about it, and I'm definitely gonna be getting this one and putting some friends in it and checking it out. But it made me want to ask you a question out there. We lump mixed reality, augmented reality, VR all into this XR umbrella, but something I've noticed personally is mixed reality can feel a lot more immersive and ultimately more engaging, more terrifying at times if it's done right, because you still see your real home, you see the things around you being changed, and because of that, you have full safety to move around. You feel like you're in your environment. We talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago about how when you pull off a headset and you're in VR, you're suddenly back in the real world, where when you're in AR or mixed reality, you pull off the headset and you're still in the same room, just things have gone missing from it. It makes me think that if I were a developer, I would love to try and play around with that idea more. Like the end of a horror experience is you hit a button and everything comes crumbling down and you're in, again, just your mixed reality home without any augments, so that when you pull the headset off, it feels like a seamless transition back into real life. But I'm curious about your thoughts. I'd love to continue the conversation in the comments with you. With the next couple weeks, we do have some travel coming up, so you may see the upload schedule change a little bit. We'll do our best to keep daily content coming to you like we have for years now, but next week I will be at CES, biggest electronics trade show in the country, where we've gotten to see some wild VR stuff before. Obviously the 3S was the big headset of the year, but there's Pimax stuff there. We tried the PSVR 2 there years ago ahead of time, and then wild and weird stuff too. VR and AR uses for everything you can imagine. If you're a creator out there, or if you're going to CES though, feel free to hit me up on Discord, let me know. There is a Discord server for creators that we're keeping as the official one, so that you know where people are getting together, where you can go meet and network. So make sure and reach out to me if you are going to be there in Vegas next week. We mentioned Pimax will be there. If you don't know Pimax well, they are a company that's still trying to have the top end of the VR industry with some of the highest end graphics, although they have started to move more towards standalone. But Pimax showing off their future headset, the Dream Air, and even a standalone computing unit that's intended to enable high-end VR with the headset's 8K micro OLED displays. But the Dream Air headset was intended to be a complete PCVR headset only, and now the announcement of this COB means more standalone style. We've owned a Pimax headset before, and I will say ultimately it just felt like Meta's ecosystem was so much better for standalone that I didn't end up getting much use out of the headset. In fact, I feel like I gave it to one of you actually. I know we gave away the Vario Aero to one of you. I might still have the Pimax Crystal laying around. Maybe we should give that away. But we'll definitely be reporting back to you from CES more with what we get to see there and test out the future of VR. I know it's early and we probably won't get to see it, but right now the thing I'm really excited about is Google entering back in. I really want to see that Samsung XR headset. We'll have to see who all's there. With all that going on, it's going to be a big couple of weeks coming up, a big year probably at this rate too. I'm excited to be here with all of you, sharing what we've got going on, keeping you up to date on the news, telling you about the good games out there to play, reviewing accessories and headsets and things that are going to make your lives easier. But what else do you want to see from the channel in the year 2025? I'd love to know from you. We've had a couple series we've been trying to get off the ground and some other things we want to do, but I definitely would love to hear from you out there and take some of those ideas and do some more fun things with the channel. And I hope to meet more of you out there this year at events and stuff. So let me know where you're going to be at. But thank you once again for being here with me, and I'll see you in another reality.